can see that you're angry. Tell me a little bit about what's gone on.
Teachers are expected to be jacks of all trade, and they will never have the depth and the breadth of understanding required to deal with some of these matters in the way that we'd always like. Some of this, I think, speaks to the culture of a school. I work with tens, hundreds of schools across Wales. Cultures that are grounded in the belief of the profound goodness of children tend to be the ones in which those situations occur less often. So, for example, I wouldn't advocate shouting in a school, say for keeping young people safe. You wouldn't allow me to shout at you, and I wouldn't allow you to shout at me, and I don't think that dynamic should be different between an adult and a young person. Perhaps, if anything, we should be more sensitive. So something that tells young people that they matter, a relationship that says, I'll treat you with kindness and respect so that you know how to treat me back. Something that says, if you're causing a problem, the first thing I'll ask you to do is to fix that problem yourself. And if you can't do it or won't do it, then I'll have to do something about it.
How do you feel? Because you know, don't you, there will have to be some consequences to that. You know that we can't allow you to be violent in school.
School staff and children can rub along badly because a young person is oppositional or defiant, or perhaps they swear, maybe they truant, or they might be violent. We need rules and we need boundaries to maintain civility across the community, but it needs to be done with understanding, and it needs to be as person-centred and strength-based as possible. My view, and it is just my view, is that permanent exclusion is never right. I think it's a damaging message to say to a young person who is already working under the hypothesis that adults can't be trusted and the system is against me, to say that you're excluded from that very system. It will compound that hypothesis, and it will tell young people that they don't matter and that they don't belong here. That said, if they are aggressive or violent and the victims of that violence are also in school, you can see why other stakeholders would feel anger, they would want justice and something done. So it's a really difficult, sensitive balancing act. And now there are things that can be done. You can always offer a way out of permanent exclusion. You can lean on partners and networks to try and come up with a partnership with another school, for example, to still provide an education whilst keeping people safe. In the case of our school, we operate 3 alternative provision bases, so young people can come out of a mainstream setting, but while still attending their own school with their uniform, their brand, that sense of belonging, and their same teachers. But it is a difficult challenge. Fixed-term exclusions, I think, are different. They can be the least worst option sometimes. And fixed-term exclusions can be enough to satiate victims and victims' families. They can be enough for people to feel that something has been done whilst not causing ongoing damage to the young person who's been exploited.
Teachers just care more about what you wear. The teacher was shouting in my face just because I wore a nice top. It wasn't important. What was important that I was in school.
Teachers can worry about some very funny things, funny rules, uniform. I would encourage teachers and school staff just to think a little bit more deeply about the way that they respond. If you have a zero tolerance approach to behaviour management, for example, you can very quickly find yourself putting young people into detention because they haven't taken their hood down, and you have to ask the question, why? Where's the logic in that? And I think if I could say anything, it would be that zero tolerance for all means zero chance for some.
I'm part of the violence prevention team based in the emergency department, and our role is to support anyone that comes into the department with violence-related injuries, exploitation concerns. These vary from your knife wounds, your gunshot wounds, to your Saturday night punches, peer-on-peer violence in school, and then any forms of exploitation, adult or child. It is completely flexible. It's always dependent on the young person, how they want to talk to you. They don't always want to talk to you, so it's about letting them take the lead, really. And obviously it's always dependent on what injuries they've come in with. It might be just the first time I meet them, it might just be a conversation about, hey, this is me. I'm here to make sure that you're okay. If you need anything, give me a shout. And then we'll have a later conversation about what support they want, or actually if they don't want anything at all.
I've done something to my arm, and if you could have a look, that'd be great.
Right. We'll have a look at your arm now. Can you tell me a little bit more about what happened? It's about becoming on the young person's level. If they're upset, you sit next to them, you pull up a chair. Part of the reason I've come to see you today is to make sure that you're okay and to see how you're getting on.
I just can't really move it, so if you could...
You talk to them like they're a person and not just what you're looking at medically. Advice I'd give is just to be patient.
Okay.
Is there anything else that's worrying you apart from your arm today?
No, that you need to know about, no.
Young people will come to you if they want to, on their own time. It's just being open and honest is one of the clear things we like to do here, and just having the patience to let them be the person that they want to be. It's about letting them then be them and then kind of going with the flow. So we've got youth workers that can look at keeping you safe, looking at why you're in trouble.
That's just how it is, so...
But it doesn't have to be.
They all judge me from the way I look or like the way I dress, just because my clothes in it. They call me a druggie just because I wear a hood, you get me? But it's not me. They're always asking questions. I ain't got nothing to say to you, bro. It's embarrassing.
I find that really difficult to hear. It's really sad. We treat everyone with respect and dignity, and that's the aim for every person that walks through the door. And it would really upset me to think that young people thought that when they came into a health environment, that they were treated differently just because of who they're expected to be from what they were in to their behaviour. Their behaviour it's in an environment like this is expected because it is really hard and it's challenging for a grown-up, let alone anyone who is in distress, in fear, coming into a very stressful environment. We're hoping that that doesn't happen here. I can't always promise it's not, but our aim is for that not to be an issue when young people come in.
Okay.
You okay, Jamie?
Yeah,
Yeah, what are you up to?
nothing much.
It's really difficult because the children don't come out and say they're being exploited. We recently closed a girl who turned 18. She was open to us for 2 years. So we have no time scales. So it's about building that relationship and having the time for the worker to build our relationship with the child. And I think you obviously have an assessment. You obviously have the concerns to look for and to work with the child around. However, if you know, one of the workers go out and speak to the child and they don't want to do any of that, that's fine. They can just have a general conversation about how their day's been, how their week's been, etc., and not push it. I think if they push for that information, then the child will close down.
How are things at home? Have things got better?
Just the same.
Just the same? Okay. That's really hard to deal with, isn't it?
You need to listen to them. Don't rush them. If they're not ready to speak about the issues that is happening for them at the moment, give them time to build our relationship with you and trust you, I suppose, is the main thing. You have to trust the person you're talking to. You need to just be on their level and speak to them on their level. No jargon, no words they don't understand. And social workers are very good at using long words and that people don't understand. And you just lose them then from the beginning. And it's really difficult, especially with teenagers. It's really difficult to get them back once you sort of lose that. And also, I would say, this is a huge one, if they're abusive to you, verbally abusive to you, they don't mean it, directed at you, it's the situation. And so when you go back the next time to see them, you don't bring it up and say, well, last time I spoke to you, you were, you just start afresh and, start from there, really. And don't forget that, they're teenagers and they're struggling with their emotions as well. Social workers in general are really sort of risk averse, and I think it's about managing that risk. You know, as a child, when you're going through your teenage years and going into your adult, there's going to be risks. There's going to be risks for every child, every person. So you just have to manage that risk, especially a child who's open to children's services, that there's a lot of oversight of where they go in, who they're with, what they're doing. And it's just about managing that professional anxiety, I guess.
Do you want to go drive through, get Mackey's? My treat.
Yeah,
Go on, yeah, go on then, let's go to the car.
If they are a little bit older, treat them, you know, as an adult and have those adult conversations with them. Open and honest conversations about what the risks are so they can make that informed decision.
What should you go to McDonald's order?
They'll read you like a book, teenagers. They'll know if you're being sincere or not. You just get so much from a child in a car. Their focus is directly in front. Your focus is directly in front. So there's no eye contact. You're usually taking them somewhere they want to go. So they're usually in a good mood. So they will chat. You can put their music on. So they're happy with that. They feel relaxed, I suppose. There's nothing worse for the child than bringing them to a formal place to sit down, and because they know why they go in there and they know that they're expected to speak. In the car, there's none of that expectation.
Not as annoying as the last bloke, to be fair.
Oh, that's a relief. Thank you.
Social workers have double standards. They expect you to answer all their questions, but then don't answer you when you ask them things. Mine just doesn't show up. Happened over and over. They didn't even say sorry.
That's a difficult one, isn't it? Yeah, I think that is quite common. It's very difficult because you know things can happen to make you late or prevent you turning up. But it's just about having, you know, you ring the child, you would speak to them and say, you know, you're really sorry, something has happened. You should never not turn up. You know, a lot of the children we work with have rejection throughout their lives from one way or the other. And I think not having any phone call or any apology or anything should never happen. It does happen, but it shouldn't. I think yeah. And if it does, you should apologise.
So I'm a detective on an exploitation team. We deal with offences ranging from modern slavery, human trafficking. A lot of offences can come under that umbrella. So you get a lot of drug stuff, the county lines, lots of sexual offences. There's always the standard thing, like they're going missing, they're coming back late, their behaviour's changing. Mum and dad aren't giving them pocket money, but they've got money, they've got new clothes, new trainers. Those are the sort of stereotypical things that you would see. In terms of advice for new officers, if there's something that doesn't look right, put referrals in. If you haven't got the time to deal with it there and then, it can be reviewed by other people, get some trust from them, make sure they feel confident and that they can trust you, and they're more likely then to work with you and help them to help us.
Can you be it yourself? Just relax.
They're not having to go at you as a person when you're a police officer. It's
here we go.
The uniform, the job,
chill,
the role.
chill, just go in.
They see police from negative experiences before, so they just say, oh, you're all the same. So sometimes it can take a while to break down that barrier.
Take your handcuffs off, okay? Yeah. Lean forward for me.
We've taken away their liberty by arresting them. They're not free to do what they want to do. They're maybe in handcuffs, which aren't comfortable. Just being a nice, normal person to them. You're a police officer, and they're a member of the public, but you're two just human beings. You can interact normally. At that time, they're not going to be receptive to you, but just give them time and space. It's not always a case of go, go, go. Sometimes stepping back, let them blow off a bit of steam, let them shout what they need to shout. But if you remain calm, I think a lot of the time eventually they will come back down. Not always the case. So it is just risk assessing and being aware that stepping back is always an option.
Shut the fuck up! Trying to sleep! I'm gonna fucking kill you! Shut the fuck up!
The key thing is the communication, so telling them exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, telling them what you want them to do, and speaking to them in a language they understand, but be authentic to yourself. Don't try and be someone that you're not. Break down the barriers by chatting about normal things, seeing what they're into, interests, try and find some common ground. I'm a football fan. If I find out they're a football fan, then that can be a way just to speak with them, and then you can slowly gain that trust, gain that rapport, and then they're more receptive to giving you information that you need to help them. Things can happen really quickly. You've got your past experiences that the officers have got, maybe with that person, or the child could have with the police officers. There might be your first encounter with that person, but they just see you as a police officer. They may have had negative experiences, and your encounter with them could be a key change into how they're going to engage with police later down the line. Right, so there's cameras up here, and that can be played in court.
Can I go in a minute?
As soon as I've asked you all the questions I need to ask you.
How many are left?
It depends what you're going to say.
But I've got nothing to say.
Okay, but I've still got questions I need to
I'm
answer.
not going to tell you anything.
That's fine.
So what's the point?
To ensure you get a fair investigation.
They just seen I'd done something wrong, arrested me, put me in a cell for more than 10 hours. I had to take my clothes off in front of a man I didn't know. I was just stood in my pants. I have nothing nice to say about the police.
It's difficult because when police use a tactic, the gang members, the exploiters, will become savvy to that. So they'll use tactics that counter what we are trying to do. So, you know, we won't look to push for a conviction against the child, or so they think, they got a couple of chances, we can use them. I think before it was a case of you weren't allowed to strip search a child. They will become savvy to that. If we put drugs in their underwear. So it's finding a balance when you can do it, when it's justified. Every decision that a police officer makes needs to be justified, proportionate, legal, accountable, and necessary.
No comment.
And being empathetic, it's not a nice situation. Just wait till
No comment.
If someone's making you sell drugs, then there are things we can do to help you, we can protect you. But if we don't know what's going on, there's nothing we can do. And just explain, you're not doing it for the sake of it. There is a reason for it, and this is why, this is how it needs to be done. We want to do it as smoothly as possible. Take a step back and let the situation diffuse itself sometimes.
I've worked for Cardiff Youth Service 25 years in the same community. I've seen multiple groups of young people who were at risk, being exposed to drugs and crime and gangs, etc. And we try to now work with them as young as possible to provide opportunities, help build their confidence, show them that if you work hard and you engage in positive activity in your life generally, you become less exposed to the risks. There's a massive amount of issues that can lead to some of that increased risk of exploitation and gangs and drugs. It can be prevented through positive engagement and positive role models, and giving them opportunities to see things that they wouldn't normally be able to see can change the lives of some young people, I think, yeah. The key thing is just about giving them time. Don't put in too much pressure on the situation. Be consistent. Trust is a big thing. Lots of people sometimes would express that maybe through their experience in accessing services that they've been let down a bit. So consistency and building that trust is really, really important. Focus on the individuals, not focus on our processes and procedures and systems, but think about the young person, think about their strengths and their weaknesses, and tailor in the support to suit their needs as opposed to the needs of the service makes a big difference. And being positive is really important. Sometimes we can feel a little bit ground down, can't we, by everything. But it's important to have that positive persona and attitude when you're working with a young person, because it can help break down some of the barriers. And time, a big part of his time, caseload kind of capacities can sometimes impact on the amount of work you can do with someone. So we don't overload our staff with too many on their caseloads, which allows them to be able to spend that quality time. So that consistency and relationship and continuity and understanding boundaries and works really well for us. It becomes more difficult when somebody's 16 or 17 and maybe they're exposed to exploitation and criminality already, but being consistent and never going away can make a difference, because you just don't know when that person's going to be ready to step away. Being in the community makes a big difference, because we see people, we know families, we know the community, which means that the contact is forever sustainable and within our reach. Just like doing activities and maybe going on a residential somewhere and leaving the city can sometimes leave a lasting impression. It seems quite small, but it can, because I think it broadens people's horizons, helps them understand that there's a bigger world than just the small little community that you're living in. Diversionary activities and having fun is still really important. It's two-pronged. One, it provides them with those experiences, but also it's a tool for us to be able to engage them in the things that really matter and shaping them. Because sometimes if you just sat down and you're meeting with a young person, you're just having conversations, you become a little dry. But if you're engaging with a young person whilst you're doing a positive activity, you can have the same effect, but their mind is a little bit more open to the conversations and the advice maybe that you're giving. Okay. Are you good at revising?
The police took my tracksuit and kept it for 4 months. My mum couldn't afford any more clothes and I didn't know what to do.
Yes, it's a really difficult situation for young people to be left in. There is support in terms of supporting children and families that are experiencing poverty. But yeah, it's just about making sure that you're telling people that these are the problems that you're facing, and then just trying to explore what opportunities they have to be able to provide support for you and your family. Well done. Good game.
So I've had a referral here. Obviously you've come to me now with the Interwork team. I work with 16 to 24-year-olds. We work with those who are NEET, and we look to help them get into employment, education and training. I primarily work with young people who are currently with the Youth Justice Service or around that situation on probation. I find it's massive to build trust first. A lot of the young people who come to me will have a lot of barriers, and I've faced so much that they are not willing to open up.
Will I have to pay for it?
No, all that will be paid through by us. That's why I spoke about the adult learning course earlier. Sometimes I find it varies though. Some will come to me and they'll open up exactly what they've been doing, where they've been, what they're looking to do. Other young people will come to me and it'll take like a few mentoring sessions in order to find out what they're looking to do, what the circumstances are. It's also about like building respect with them. They want respect. Same with me as well. I want to build my respect up with them. I make sure that everything I do, I'm open with them, what I'm going to be doing. We set out a plan when we first meet. If I know exactly what they want to go into, so a few of mine want to go into like CSCS cards, they want to go into construction, I sit with them, I'll plan the step by step what we need to do. I make promises. I got to make sure they're attainable. I got to also make sure that their expectations are met. A few of the young people I work with will either be on referral orders or they will be working with prevention with the Youth Justice Service. So it's about managing the expectations of what kind of roles they can go into and what they can do going further on. Like some of them won't engage. Like if they've been told that they've got to meet with me, they don't want to. It's about what's stopping them from engaging. Some of them won't turn up, so it's like I'll even ask to meet them in places where they feel more comfortable, because I meet in libraries, in the hubs. If they want to meet at home, as long as I'm going with another worker, I'll go to their house if needs be, or I can meet them in coffee shops and around, just to break the barriers that stop them from coming to me.
I'll be real, it's not fair. Like, I did what the career advisor told me, innit? I got this CSC card and I still didn't get a job. Like, they said it's a must, like you gotta have this year. And then I still didn't even get a job, bro. It's so peak.
It's dependent on the area. It's not as if you're going to get the card and you'll go straight into work. Same as all jobs, they've got allocated roles within the jobs, and once they fill those, then those jobs will be gone. Depending on how much they have to pay for bus fares and other things, we can look to break down those barriers by paying for the bus fare for them, and we can go out and about and look for them, for the young person, and go with them as well.